All right. Richard. Hello. Richard, what have you got going on here?
You'll find out.
Oh, man. Come on up. Richard was, last year, I learned so much from him. It was great. It was really great. So come on up and do your thing. Do you need this? Yes? All right.
Thank you. I've had many introductions in my time. That wasn't one of them. What an unbelievable pleasure it is for you, no, for me, to be here back in Canada. I'm going to be teaching you some things today, classics of skepticism and critical thinking, and things that are applicable over many of the issues that atheists and free thinkers and humanists and skeptics and scientists deal with. In my experience, a lot of it comes down to psychology, but we'll explore some of that. Briefly, for those of you who weren't here last year, who don't listen to the Skeptic Zone podcast, I'm the chief investigator of the Australian Skeptics. I've been with the organisation for nearly a quarter of a century. I'm a fellow for the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry. I do the podcast, as I just mentioned. You'll hear more about that. I do a school show about critical thinking called The Mystery Investigators. And I was involved with James Randi and the JREF for the $1 million prize. This is the clicker.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it makes a sound. Oh, look at that. I'm also, in my other life, I'm an origami expert. I've written many books on the subject. And just last year, it was my pleasure to be in San Francisco for the big origami day in Japantown there. And if you want, at the back of the room there, I've got a little table set up with some earrings, including the Pegasus, the flying pig I invented for James Randi. Yes. And wow, I mean, we miss Randi. He was a personal friend of mine. I toured with James Randi throughout Australia. And I miss him all the time. At conventions, it's just, you know, there's that one little thing missing. What a fantastic influence he was. Wonderful. Again, here we get back to the Skeptic Zone podcast. Kat McLeod, stand up please. Last night, Kat McLeod became an official new reporter on the Skeptic Zone podcast. I met her for the first time at this convention last year because I happened to sit on her trivia table. And since then, she has proven herself to be an excellent contributor to the show, so it was about time it was made official. So we look forward to many more good things from you over the next 20, 30 years. You know? And for those who listen to the show, that's Tim Mendham. That's Tim Mendham from the Book of Tim segment. So the Skeptic Zone has been going not as long as the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, but almost. Almost. I'm up to, I just published about, well no, Kat just published about 20 minutes ago, episode 813. So that gives, wow, yeah, that gives you some idea. Here I am in Canada. And I'm thinking, what unusual things. How can Canada be, you know, best Australia in unusual things? Here's a photograph I took just before I left Sydney. And you can't beat that. You can't beat that. I said, Adrian, I rang her up. She still's got a phone. Yes. And when she accepted the charges, I said, Adrian, I just photographed a kangaroo in a UFO flying over Sydney. I mean, that's it. That's the end of the story. Well, I'm afraid she went out with her camera. Look at that, I tell you. I'm done. I'm over. I don't know where the rest of the moose is in there. That's crazy. Now, for those of you who didn't hear my talk last year, I'm, you know, part of my heart is Canadian because I lived in Saskatchewan when I was a little kid. There's me as a little kid in Saskatchewan. I lived where that flag is in a place called Tribune, which is just wheat prairie country. And my earliest memories are of the Friendly Giant, for example, and snow and toboggans. And so really, I mean, coming back to Canada is really coming home to me because this is where I developed my very first memories all those years ago. Oh, look at, oh, it's so cute. dearie me. All right, so getting back to why we're here, let's learn some critical thinking skills and have a little bit of fun. We're going to be doing water divining, the power balance test made famous by the wristbands, and I'm going to teach everyone how to bend spoons. Not only bend spoons, but make them bend and melt apart. This is why you're here. I know. This is why you're here. And it's fun. It's great fun. I love it. But there are important lessons. In all of these things, there are very important lessons to learn for all of us. And we'll get to that soon. So let's start off with the classic of classics, which is water divining or water dowsing. This is around the world. It's probably thousands of years old. It's certainly big in Australia. It's always been big in Australia, but I noticed doing some research here in Canada too. There are many people who still believe in water diviners, will employ water diviners or dowsers, I think you'd probably call them here, much as water witches is another term. That photograph is taken from one of the many tests held in Australia by the Australian skeptics. And there are lots of variations. Pendulums, 1 rod, 2 rods, all sorts of things. It's still in the newspaper, but I love that one there in the corner, the black and white one. Who can tell who that is? Anyone? Jed Clampett. I was watching the Beverly Hillbillies. It's a new show in Australia. And I nearly fell off the couch where Jed is running around the lawn water divining and Granny's by the hose and he turns the hose on. So I thought that was pretty funny. So it's still around. And thousands of people believe in it and thousands of people don't know the history of this being thoroughly tested and examined and scrutinized. In fact, this came in my inbox of Amazon. Yes. How about that? We don't need to spend that much money on water divining rods. I'll show you that in a minute. But I was saying, here in Canada, that was just a random person from the Canadian Society of Dowsers. Meet alien energy with dowsing. We often find that people who are into something like dowsing, well, their critical thinking skills might let them down occasionally. So they tend to be also into this belief or that mysticism or that or so it goes. So this is a classic test, what I'll teach you now, of water divining, dowsing, water witching. And it serves quite a few useful roles in educating ourselves as to how the brain works in critical thinking. And it's also a lot of fun. And it's in some stages. Now, I'm going to go through some of the stages, but soon we're going to get, hopefully, a volunteer from every table. If not, that's okay. 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 volunteers to give it a go. I've got some divining rods ready. Here are the stages that we do when we're testing water divining officially for the Australian Skeptics $100,000 prize, and it would be similar to what we would have done for James Randi with his $1 million prize. Adrian was very nice. She bought me a whole box of water divining rods from Canada. Vincent, our friend Vincent, was trying one earlier and he said it just found clothes, which doesn't... I go, oh yeah, of course it does. But we can turn them into water divining rods. Look at that. You see? So let's look at some of these steps that we go through, and this is exactly what we would do with people who come to us and say, I can divine for water, I'd like to be tested for the money. Okay, we say, great. And I can't think of anything else I would rather divine for than a nice can of Canadian root beer. It's my favourite drink. It's probably from my days living here in Canada, I expect. So what we say to them is, here's a container of water. Are you happy with that? Let's pretend it's a bottle of water. Or if they want to divine for anything, they say, yeah, I can divine a can of pop. Sure. Great, as long as they're happy. We're not going to say, can you divine this can of root beer? And they say, oh, only divine water. And we would never say, oh, you must do this. We would run and get water. All right? Critical thinking moment. It's because if we're wrong, we want to know. And if they can really do it, we want to know. We don't want to put any impediments in their way. All right? Keeping an open mind. So we say to them, there it is. I hope you can all basically see that there, sitting on top of popcorn box number 3. No popcorn. And we say, can you divine where that is? They go, yeah, okay. Ooh. Look at that. Goodness me. Do it again? Okay, yes. Wow, that's amazing. And we say, are you happy that there's nothing else here interfering with your divining? Sometimes they'll go along and say, oh, there's a water pipe down there. You know. We make sure that they're happy, so... All right, so you're happy with that? Yes, sir? Easy. All right, so now we say, if we hide the water, gold, whatever they can divine for, under something like this, and you can't see it, does your powers still work? Okay. It's under number 3. Yes, number 3. Okay. So it doesn't matter if it's under a box. No, it's fine. Obviously, I can do it. Are you sure? Yes, it's number 3. Not a problem. Then we'll say, well, we'll take this test one stage further. And we get the best thing known to science, a die. I don't know why she giggled. But and we say, what we're going to do now is we're going to roll this, and wherever it lands, that's where we'll hide what you're looking for. Okay, so 6. Okay, we say, are you happy with that? Yeah, fair dice. Yes, lovely. We're going to put it under number 6. Now we say the dice chose where it's going to be. Can you still find it? All right, here we go. I should be a water diviner. This is great. 6. Imagine divining for root beer in reality. You're out there in the permafrost and... Okay, so those steps are vital because we need to know that the person applying or trying their luck or whatever knows what we're trying to do, knows how we're trying to do it, and is happy they can do it. And if I'm playing the part of the water diviner, this is what invariably happens. It works. Great. Next step. Now we ramp it up a notch. And this is where we're going to ask for volunteers. If anybody would like to come up and have a go at water divining, please come right up. If you don't come up, I'll get Kat to choose you. Vincent, I know how to go before. Come up, Vincent. Yes, please, everybody come up. It's a lot of fun. You'll get a free dice. All right, big hand for our water diviners. Okay, come over here with me, Vincent. Can you grab one of those and pass the rest around, please? Vincent, that's for you.
Sure.
I'm noticing something very similar about our water diviners, which is typical of water diviners you'll find in the Australian outback, actually. They're all usually looking like that. Would you like to have a go, Adrian, maybe? Oh, she's doing the camera. Oh, dear. Kat, come on up. Kat McLeod, everybody. Come on.
Good looking.
Because you just had to have one woman, right?
Oh, it didn't occur to me. Yes, you're right. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pop this can right up there, nice where everybody can see it. Let me grab one of these again. They're the cheapest water divining sticks I've ever had. Okay, water diviners, let's practice. So hold it about halfway down the long bit of the rod there. Hold it out nice and steady and see if you can just keep it nice and level without it swinging about. Not bad. Not bad. If you take a few steps, just try to keep it level. Might swing a little bit. God, somebody walked in now off the street. All right, starting with Vincent, who's been practicing, by the way. I want you to each walk slowly past like this, and we'll see if anybody here... I do drink a lot of root beer. Okay, Vincent, let's go. Oh, wow, I tell you. Over here, please. Skill, I know, right? Look at that.
James.
Oh, another one. How about that? I tell you. I'm giving up skepticism after this. Goodness me. He's divining for real beer, I think.
Now, if mine goes that way, it could be because there's root beer over there.
Oh.
No, straight as an arrow. Look at that.
Oh, look at that. Well, look, thank you all. At the back of the room, there's a box of dice. If you haven't got one yet, please help yourself. But I think our last lovely volunteer, who's trying to hide now, come back. Everybody else, a big hand for our water diviners. You can keep the water divining rods. Does that dice end up over this? Oh, there it is. Great. Thank you. All right. So here is our genuine water diviner. She's going to be attempting to get the $100,000 from the Australian skeptics. And obviously you can do it because your rod reacted very well. It's time to start the test proper. So we're going to do a blind test. Our lucky water diviner is going to face the wall, gaze into the whatever that is. Now, I'm going to roll this. We're going to put the root beer under whatever the dice says, but everybody... So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully hide the root beer. At the same time, I'm going to shift all the other boxes. So, in case one is moved slightly, it might give a clue to the water diviner. Now, we don't want to give them unfair clues, and we don't want to be unfair to them. Very important. Okay, we're done. We're all finished. Let's see how you go. Under one of those popcorn boxes, you'll find the root beer. What do you say? What do you think? What number do you think you were sensing?
Should I go back again?
If you wish, yes, absolutely. Again, you cater for the person. We want to make them feel comfortable and...
4.
4? That's just astonishing, because it's under number 2. All right, so... But if we were doing this test seriously for the money or to really get to the truth, of course we'd do this many, many, many times. What we find, though, is when water diviners fail 3/4, they get so discouraged they don't want to continue. So James Randi taught me many years ago, if you're doing something like this, you don't tell them after each round how they did. You say, you must complete 10, then we'll see, because we don't want to discourage you. If you keep missing, we don't want to do that. So let's move this test up a notch. That was fun, that was good. It had a major flaw, and scientists in the room will know what that major flaw was. Just to be frank, you all knew where it was, I knew where it was. And knowing or not, you could have given a clue. Some people flinch, some people cough. When we do this in school, they yell out the number. That's on the number 6, Fred. Oh. So where's our water diviner? Oh, come back again, come back again.
Okay.
So this time, and we'll make it as close to double blind as we can, with a few, because it's a demonstration. We're going to do the same thing again. Would you... Wow, look at that. She knows exactly what to do. But I need everybody to turn around and not look. So nobody in this room except for me, and if we were doing this for the money, I would then leave the room, but I think you understand. So I'm going to roll this. A number has appeared. So all keep looking the other way. And I'm moving all the other containers to odd positions, doesn't matter as long as they're not resting where they were before. And I'm finished. Okay, everybody can look down. So again, ideally, I would now just leave the room, so I'm not going to give anything away. I think you can understand for the purposes of this demonstration. Double blind. Oh, it's just something to do. Maybe there's a keg of root beer in the floor below us. If you'd like to have another run, please. I think you were indicating number 4, but please have another run. All right. 4 again. Now, you don't know where it is. And another good thing about this test is when we're doing it in schools, we can then talk about statistics. What are the chances of, in this case 1 in 6, sometimes we have 10 tubs, we roll a 10-sided die. It was 4? 4. Here we go. The anticipation. A big hand for our water diviner, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. I get to keep the root beer. It's really
And the Timbits.
Oh, yes. Thank you to Jonathan and Jerry for those. Look at that. And Cat McLeod got me some earlier. I'm going to die of these Timbits. I used to live in Canada. I came here last year. I had a great time. Why did nobody tell me about Canadian Tire? I mean, I was watching hockey with Adrian and Greg, and this funny red logo, advertisement. I said, "What's Canadian Tire?" And I went there, I've come to a wonderland. We've been twice, haven't we?
It's a tourist attraction.
That's what I wrote on Facebook. You know, Calgary's best tourist attraction. That and Tim Hortons, I think. So, lessons. The lessons of water divining and the tests we do. It is a wonderful, classic example of self-deception. Because I promise you, the water diviners we encounter are honest, good people. They wouldn't want to trick us, fool us. They're not out to try and scam our money. They sincerely believe in their own abilities. And it's because of something you've probably heard of, the ideomotor action, where it's the movement. I've been doing this for a quarter of a century because that's why I can walk by and it works every time. It's the slightest movement of the muscles in the hand will make that rod move. And the whole point about the ideomotor action is the person doing it have no idea that their hands are twitching. All they see is the rod swinging about, and they'll say to the farmer, "Dig here for water," and they'll find water sometimes, quite a lot of the time. Sometimes they don't, but of course it's always a success. If it's not, oh, it was just over there, or the cows interfered, or it wasn't root beer, or anything like that. And as I've discovered over years of doing this exact thing, it's a wonderful way to introduce double-blind testing to everybody. To people of all ages, but especially to students. A classic bit of skepticism. There's lots of coat hangers here. If you want to grab 1 or 2 and take them home and try your luck, good luck. All right, let's move on with the next part. Yes, sir.
I remember reading about the young Earth creationist scientists who are looking for oil. Of course, they have to reject all the normal geological.
Yes.
They use water divining.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me.
The companies that employ them don't find oil.
Well,
It's surprising.
we'll be talking about a famous spoonbender soon who charged oil companies in Australia a lot of money to fly over in a helicopter and magically look for oil. So, all right, so that's water divining, a great demonstration. Now we're going to look at something which is another interesting example in some ways of the ideomotor action. It's consumer affairs, and it's just outright fraud that we discovered worldwide. Still sort of going on, as you'll see. The classic example is embodied in power balance from around 2008, 2009, 2010, that era. And the idea was, it's a little ring you put around your wrist. It's made out of rubber. It's got a hologram. It costs 10 cents to make. And that's how much, $64.95. That's how much they were selling it in Australia. Here in the United States, it was probably equally as outrageous. So many lessons here. They're the brothers who were the Australian distributors of the company, who, in my estimation, I tested this guy, the guy on the right there on TV, and I think he really thought it was the real deal. The company bamboozled not only its customers, but its distributors with junk science, like the Schumann resonance in interacting with the positive of the negative of the human aura and the biosystems of the body and you've heard it all before. And if you lack basic science understanding, which a lot of people don't necessarily know all this stuff, how energy works and all the rest of it, it seems quite convincing, especially when you see some of the tests we'll be conducting soon. And there were many knockoffs, many companies doing this. There was Power Balance, there was Shuzi. I've got a list in my files, and I've got little examples of many NRG biotechnology bands, and they were in Australia. They were marketed, and football players wore them. And the football players in Australia, like the ones in North America, they're big men. They're big, huge, powerful men, and they were all wearing this, and people were going nuts over them. So there we have, included in some of the advertising, was some of the tests you could do to prove these bands really worked. I'd like to demonstrate some of these tests, and I'm going to teach you how they really work. And I have a volunteer ready to go who's... Yes, come up. Big hand, everybody. Here he is. All right, so I'm going to have to use my... As Adrian says, I'm going to have... Just wait, sorry. I have to use my teacher voice. Thank you, Adrian. I've got to remember, that's a great saying. I'll put that there for the moment. So there are many variations of what I'm going to show you. The three I'll show you now, which is balance, strength, and flexibility, are the classic ones. There are variations. So typically, if they're selling the wristband or something else that magically will tap into the energies of the magna or the radiation or whatever it is, will aid your physical strength, but they also claim will make your blood go better, you can concentrate better in school and all the rest of it. So hello, sir, we've never met before. No, yeah, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I'd like to test, let me test your balance. I bet you didn't know you have rubbish balance. No. I bet you. Okay, let's test this. I want you to put your arm out straight for me like that. Nice and steady, and lift this leg and balance on the other one. Balance sort of okay. I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure. Look at that. Look at terrible. Awful.
You pushed me.
For Don't give it away, kid. For $20, I'm going to sell you this magic dice. Oh yes, this dice taps into the energies of the cosmos, so hold that in your hand. Can you feel the energies? Say yes. Yes. Arm out, leg up, feel the energies. Isn't that amazing? For $30, this wonderful little... So his balance was dramatically increased. That's just astonishing. Let's try your strength. Your strength. So turn around and face the wall for me. And I want you to put your hands behind your back like that for me, please. I'm going to push down, feet together, push down and test your strengths. Now resist. Now, try this $40 dice. Hold it. All right. Hold it in the other hand because I'm going to push down on that. That's it. So, feel the power. Yes, excellent. Resist. Okay. No. Not bad for $60. So obviously this thing works. Yes, obviously it does. Let's try. Now you might be skeptical. Let's try your flexibility.
Oh.
Yes. Stand over there a little bit for me. Face away from the audience. Feet firmly on the ground and put your thumb out like this. Keep your arms straight and just watch what I do. Swing your body out, and when you come to a natural stop, just stop. About there. Okay, come back. This $100 dice now. All right. It's going to increase your flexibility now. Concentrate, thumb out, twist around. I'm not even touching him. Wow. 2 for $500 and they're yours. All right. This is exactly the sort of test that this company and other companies were doing, and it's a fascinating dive into psychology because I've observed many people doing this, and I know some of them know the trick, which I'm about to teach you, but I'm equally sure some of them were not realizing exactly what they were doing, which is fascinating. It's like the water diviners. Okay, the first one. I want them back. I'll buy them off you for $10. Come on. Thank you. All right. So the first one. And this is another great lesson for schools because now we're going to talk about physics and things like that. So arm out straight for me, please. Resist, leg up. The first time I do it, I'm going to be pushing down away from his center of gravity. I'm pushing him off balance. Now, I can do that very carefully and I'm not doing this, right? Again, I'm simply standing here and I'm doing this and he falls off balance. Then there's a little bit of distraction, a little bit of, well, try this, or have you seen this, or something like that. Put this on. A couple of moments elapse. Let's try that again. I stand here, but this time I try to look like I'm doing the same thing, but of course my force is directed towards his center of gravity, and I make the face, I put in a little bit of effort, people looking around saying, oh, look at that, he's so much stronger now. It's as simple as that. It takes a bit of practice to do it, or as we've discovered, maybe people just aren't realizing they're applying the different sort of forces necessary. The same thing happens, face the wall for me, hands behind your back, with this one. The very first time, I'm pressing down, and of course my force is directed towards the center of gravity. A bit of distraction, a bit of come back and you're right, yeah? Okay, here's this, try this, whatever. Let's try that again. And that's where my force is. He can't help that stagger a little bit and go off balance. And you get to keep those for free. How about that? Thank you. Oh, yes. Don't come back, it's all right. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, of course, the flexibility is an interesting one because in your everyday life, when you get out of bed, I'm sure you don't stand up and do this. Right? But what is happening, of course, the first time you do it, if you can try it later in the privacy of your own home, please. Not near the window. If you do this and you're stretching, you're stretching. Your muscles are warming up. You are stretching. And you'll stop. Again, there's a moment of distraction, of course, and you say, do it again. Well, I'm warmed up. My muscles have just stretched, so they'll just stretch a bit more. And if you've never done it, it looks like the device has increased your flexibility. Now, years and years ago, and I promise you, this is not the same jacket. I got this in San Francisco a couple of weeks ago. What you're about to see is a similar jacket. I went to a sexpo fair. Oh yes, because there's woo in sex, believe it or not. With my friend Maynard, and this is, yes, that's me. This is a video of me trying out one of these devices were in their heyday. To make the video work, I just press the...
I think so.
What I'll get you to do, stand with your feet together and arms out wide. I'm going to push the pressure on your elbow. You're going to try and stay as strong as you can, as straight as you can. This is testing your balance. So I'm going to get you to lift your right leg up so you're on one foot. So just resist this pressure. Yep. Yep, so that's pretty easy for me to do that. Just nothing to do with strength, that's just everybody's core balance. Do it again, just make sure there's nothing strange. Yep, exact same thing, just hold on to the Aiken band. One leg up, right leg. Exact same thing, resist this pressure once again. That's the difference right there.
Absolutely.
That is amazing, isn't it?
So that's,
I stopped it just before that. I said, this product, and I went to the camera, it's too good to be true. But you'll see, you can still see people doing the same sort of thing. And it's not just with these rubber trinkets and things like that, which cost an outrageous sum. Oh, by the way, you know, the Australian skeptics take a little bit of credit here because of our actions, and especially I went on TV and I tested these people on national TV. That the company really went into downfall very quickly because people were saying, look, it failed the TV test. You know, what's the story? And now Consumer Magazine Choice, which is a very reputable publication, awarded it their Shonky Award. Shonky is an Australian term. You can sort of guess what it means by the word. What a shonk, you know. And they were sued and all sorts of things happened, which was, you know, which was great. Oh, the strangest thing is, when I tested the guy, the distributor, on TV and that was broadcast, it was like, you know, the general after the battle who wins the battle and just is melancholy. Because I saw this guy, his dreams and hopes and his business and his beliefs were being crumbled. In a way, it's hard to, he still believed the product worked. But it was sometimes it's a tough thing to do. You know, you've got to bear in mind these people are, if they're honest, they're human, and yeah, it's weird. You can see the same sort of thing, this same sort of muscle testing. It's called applied kinesiology. And they'll use many of the same knowingly or unknowingly ways to test muscles. They're applying different forces. And there's so many different ways that works. The latest wonder kid on the block is called Tau Patch. The human upgrade device. And this is worn by Joachim Djokovic, I think. You stick it on your chest or on your back or on your solar plexus or on your head or something. And it apparently works by channeling your body's energy into light rays on your acupuncture points. But they cost thousands of dollars. And there's a promotional video right there. They're doing exactly the same tests. It's junk science and tests that now you know exactly what to look out for. Why is this important? Again, it's a wonderful lesson in critical thinking of self-deception. Okay, there are some shonks out there. There are some cons. There are people who know exactly what they're doing with the arm tests, but there are people who are convinced that it works and they don't realizing they're applying different pressures. It's fascinating how the mind can work. It's also a classic case of consumer fraud. And what we in Australian skeptics do more and more and more is put ourselves forward as a consumer organisation. This device doesn't work. This alternative medicine can't work. And that's very important. And as Kat was alluding to earlier, we have medical fraud, medical deception, because these things were making medical claims. Increase your blood increase your blood. I need one of them. Where are they? I need one of these, I think. Your heart rate, your thinking, vague claims like that. All right, now, the last part of this wonderful little adventure into the classics of skepticism. I know it's the one you've been waiting for, and I need my friends, Kat and Malik, to come up, please. We're going to be learning how to do classic spoon bending. You each get a spoon. Now, when the spoons come to your table, please resist the temptation to bend them before we start. There's always people who say, look, it's bent, ha ha ha. Right. Everybody gets a spoon. Everybody gets a car. No, a spoon.
What if we can actually do that?
We'll see. Now, when you get them, just examine them, please. Because I don't want you thinking that you're getting some sort of special trick spoon. They're actually mass-produced in Brazil, of all places. They were bought on Amazon by Adrian, delivered to her, and they're just stock standard teaspoons. Have a look, have a good look at them. You can sort of give them a little flex to test their strength, see what you think. I'm going to have to use my teacher voice again. Okay. Now this is where I'm going to come into the audience a little bit, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing a bit more clearly. Would you like to help me, please? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So would you like to grab your spoon? All right. Everybody's got their spoon? You can have two if you want. All right. So just to make sure that, I've just walked down here with a spoon, and you might think, aha, Mr. Skeptic, that's the special spoon. Let's just randomly swap with you, and we'll randomly swap again. No, it's all right. All right. And this is not the point. I'm going to teach you how to do this, but first, this is the routine. So I'm not going to this is not a tricky spoon or anything. So, I've got a pen, yeah. Oh, here's one. So you've all seen this. This is just, again, not a trick pen. School kids do this. If you hold it just right, you can see how it looks like it's turning into rubber, right? So you know that's an optical illusion and your brain is working overtime, and that's easy. A similar sort of thing with the spoon. So what I'd like you to do is hold it in your, not your dominant hand, your other hand, put the thumb in the bowl. All right? So you're right-handed?
Yes.
Yes, excellent. Hold it out so it's nice and level. Excellent. Index finger at the other hand, and start to work on whatever they call that part of the spoon. I think it's got a special name. It's the narrow bit, the neck of the spoon, all right? Work on that and concentrate. And there it goes.
Or is it?
Okay. Look at. No? What? Huh?
Nope. Magic.
I tell you what, I'll straighten this one. You take that one. All right. Now she's got the special spoon. You watch what happens now. Okay, I'll take your spoon. Oh, this is the special spoon. I'm forgetting. All right. And there we go. That's the routine. Now comes the secret. And I think, thank you, I've seen this done at other skeptical conventions, so I don't, and Randy used to do this demonstration too, so it's not like I'm here raining on the parade of magicians or anything like that. But, as I said to the president of the Australian Psychics, it's important you know how this trick works. He told me, oh, that's him now. He's dead, it's him from the grave. He told me that he saw you. I'll take it. It's all right. The president of the Australian Skeptics told me he went to see Uri Geller and he knows it works. He knows spoon bending is a real thing. I did it for him, and the cogs in his brain went for a little while, and he said, when you do it, it's a trick. When Geller did it, it's real. So, all right. Would you like to come up and help me once more time? All right. So, yes, they're just spoons. They honestly, and I promise you they're just spoons. This is what you do. And I like to pass spoons around because I'm looking for a moment of distraction, like any magician would. And I'd say, hold the spoon out like that. And I'm giving you all a task. I'm putting your mind somewhere else. It's all psychology. And start to rub it there like that. Yeah, are you doing it now? What I'm doing is, because I said have it in your WeCan, have your dominant hand ready, I'm looking for a split second where I can grab the spoon with my dominant hand, and as I'm moving it, or I'm looking you in the eye, I'm putting a bend, right? It's bent. I've put the bend on, I'll straighten it again. La da da, is it bending? You doing okay over there? Look, see what I'm doing? Yeah. Important thing, when I bring it back and keep working on it, it's not like that. Oh. I bring it back so the handle is still level with the ground. A couple of psychological things are happening in your head. One is, you don't know it's bent. You don't know I bent it. Two is, if you glance at it, all you look at is that handle is just level with the ground. Nobody notices that's at an angle in your hand. The third thing I do is I do this very careful and slow angling of the spoon like that, right? I don't do that. You must keep your wrist still and you must rely on your thumb and finger. I'm rubbing at the same time. All your attention is here, not here. And that's what happens. Please practice for a moment. Please. Have a go.
Don't look, I'm done.
Don't. Oh, look over there. What's happening over there?
Elvis.
Who can do it? Who's bending it? It's hard. It's practice, right? Yeah. Look. I didn't see that bend. That's amazing. You please keep the spoon for practice. And it is practice. You can't just see this trick, do it once and have a little go and go to parties and bend spoons. But if you practice and practice and practice, I'm sure you can, fool your dog or your cat or something. That's the classic spoon bending. The same sort of thing can be applied to keys. It's a slightly different art form to apply it to keys, and modern keys are harder because they're made out of aluminium, or how the Americans say aluminum. It's a different kettle of fish. It's a different story. But remember this one, okay? Remember that one, because the second way to do it relies more on the optical illusion aspect. Would you like to just put that spoon down for a minute? Now, would you step out here for me? Again, I hope everybody can see this. Could you just, do that for me. Pinch your fingers together, like that. About like that. Put it there, hold the spoon very tightly. I'm going to rub it here very gently. Am I putting much pressure on that?
No.
You'd feel it, right? So I'm not. I'm just going to wait and, the resonance from the energy of the aura of the, it's all happening. Channeling through. Let go for a second. Just let go. Yeah. Remember the optical illusion. You rub it like that, and you wiggle the bottom. You can get the same sort of optical illusion. See that? And it really does look like it's getting rubbery and bendy. Look at that. And if you concentrate, hold your hands up, please. Last time I did that, everybody applauded. All right, so how many more spoons? Kat, yes. Please, and Marla, please, come on. I think everybody needs a second spoon because I'm not here to shortchange you. I'm going to teach you that one as well. All right. Everybody gets a spoon. Again. More spoons.
This way you go. I'll go this way. All right.
And I'm going to teach you how to do that. Don't do it at home with your good silverware, please. I get in trouble when people come back and my mum was really angry. Okay. So I'll demonstrate the preparation. You can do it now. I've given you 2 spoons. One to practice this one, and one, if you so desire, you can practice the next stage. It's up to you. It's okay. And we get back to physics again. I'm going to have to put a lot of energy into this spoon to do the trick I just showed you. So let me do it before you try so you understand exactly what I'm doing. So I need to prepare the spoon. Now what I did earlier when we were just chatting and everything, I just swapped the normal spoon for one I had prepared earlier. That's all I did. So to prepare it, it's a matter of bending it slowly. If you do it too quickly, you're putting so much energy into the spoon that you can actually burn your fingers a little bit. So I bend it back, and after a quarter of a century doing this, I sort of know when to stop. It's a feeling. Bend it back, bend it. I'm putting a stress fracture there. Now, that spoon has now got a stress fracture right across, okay? Again, it's practice. I know exactly when to stop doing it. But look, it's just a spoon. If nobody's paying careful attention to the spoon, people won't notice it. And it's still strong enough that you can do that. Oh, great. It's like the mating call of some weird Canadian animal. You can stir your coffee with it, have it lying about, which I've done. and then casually pick it up and say, oh, I bet I can do something. So that's got the stress fracture. It means if you give it to somebody and they're holding it like that, you can move it laterally very, very firmly because it's still very strong that way. I put it between my fingers. I distract your brain by telling you you're going to see this. So you think you're just going to see an optical illusion. It's like a double trick on you. I start to wiggle the bottom. I hold the middle tight. It's starting to break. It breaks, all right? Of course I don't say, ta-da! When I'm doing this and I feel it go, I take my other hand away and I say, oh, look at that. It's getting rubbery, look at that. And of course, what's happening in your head? The spoon is still a whole piece. Your brain is putting in the wiggle and the curve and the melting. You know, you're doing all the work. Well, actually I am. But and then you release your grip, and in people's minds it's still melting and bending, and then bammo. That's how you do spoon bending. All right. One of the happiest half hours of my life was in Melbourne in 2012, where that picture is. James Randi and I, with the Bench Spoon Award from the Australian Skeptics. And during a convention, we had half an hour where we sat down, just the two of us, and swapped spoon bending stories. Oh, wow. I wish I'd recorded that. That was fantastic. Now you know how it's done. The two variations. There are more. Watch this next clip. It's the man himself from Israel, Mr. Uri Geller. I'll just play it and you just watch. There's not much audio with it, and I think it's in Italian anyway, but anyway. And I think he's using keys on this occasion. Well, where have you seen that before? Here's the key before he starts to work on it. Well, golly. It's when you know a trick and you see it, you say, "Oh, I see what you did there," which is exactly what happens with that. My Canadian friends, my family here in Canada, what a supreme pleasure it is to come back to the land I love so much. I hope I can come back again and entertain and educate you, maybe next year or who knows when. Actually, I want to visit Edmonton. I've heard good things about the shopping mall there. Why is all this important? Fraud impacts society. We are battling fraud. We are battling errors in thinking, and we're trying to have a lot of fun while we're doing it. Thank you. I see by the clock on the wall, I think we've got a few minutes for questions. Who remembers Wayne and Schuster? Come on. Yeah! Mr. Dress Up? Yay! Gee, I'm with my crowd.
Well, first, this isn't exactly a question, but did you know that David, where's David Spencer, was one of the original volunteers to guarantee $1,000 of the Randy Million?
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you know that there was a professor of kinesiology at the University of Calgary who was a douser?
Well, here's an interesting thing. Okay, kinesiology is a legitimate science. It's to do with body motion and the way the muscles work. It's the applied kinesiology, which is what shall we say, the shonk. It's the one where, I've seen some of these. It's a professional opinion. You know, it's where they apply different pressure to your muscles and say, oh, you're allergic to salt or something like that. Yeah. To snow, maybe.
Somebody's asking if spoon bending also works with forks.
Yes. Yes, but I'd rather use spoons because it's a lot safer. It depends on, there are some spoons which you can use that are just a pain in the ass, so why would you? Just choose the cheap ones, you know. The big, thick, heavy ones, the famous spoonbender who we just saw, the best put down to a skeptic I've seen, it was on TV, the skeptic said, well, here's a big metal bar, Mr. Geller, I bet you can't bend that. And this was live TV, and Geller looked at him and said, yes, I think I can. It'll take about half an hour. I'll see you after the show. Poor skeptic in the audience. Show ends, Geller goes away, nothing happens. Brilliant.
One more question. I think a lot of us have maybe friends or family who fall for these kinds of things, or like wear the copper bracelets or all those kinds of things. Have you found a way to speak to people to try to bring them around a little bit? Is there a good approach?
I mean, I'd apply for the $1 million if I knew the best answer to that question. There's a line that it's not worth crossing when you're starting to hurt friends and family. Seriously. The best way to do it, if you're going to do it, is to do it slowly and gently, with as much compassion as you possibly can. And remember, these people have these beliefs for a very good reason to them. And it's no good saying, oh, that's just silly. I try humour. I say, look, this isn't a lot of fun. We can all learn this together, and leave the rest to them. But it's, if I knew the answer to that, All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Wait, oh, the 10 bits.